11Alive News Midday starts now.
First on 11Alive Midday, a school bus carrying students was involved in a crash last night in Rome, Georgia. How students are recovering today and what might have caused the crash. Plus, the expansion of Concourse D at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport is underway. We have an update on how that project is going.
And it will be hot and humid for today, but will it last into the weekend? I'll let you know in the full forecast straight ahead.
Welcome to 11Alive Midday News. I'm Aisha Howard. Well, it was indeed a scary ride home for a high school football team when the bus they were on collided with another vehicle, causing that bus to roll over and crash into a power pole. Ariana Manish joining us from Rome. Ariana, tell us how everyone is doing after this scary ordeal.
Aisha, all the students and staff who were taken to the hospital, they've since been released. We spoke to a man who jumped in to help. He says they were just stunned and could not comprehend exactly what just happened.
We fit to get ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden we heard a big boom.
Joshua Sutherland says he dropped everything and ran to rescue students and staff off this school bus after it overturned in his front yard.
And come outside and look down. With the bus overturned, lights, you could hear screaming and everything.
The bus was carrying high school football players leaving a football scrimmage at Rockmart High School just before 11 p.m. Thursday night when it collided with another vehicle on Highway 101, according to the Polk County Fire and Rescue.
It was just total chaos.
Sutherland says he first went to rescue the bus driver.
He was concerned about everybody else, and I told him, don't worry about it, everybody's fine. We got to get you out, sir. Come on, we got to get you out.
He then went to help the students as they were climbing from the emergency exit.
They were all confused. Some of them was on the ground. I think one of them probably had a broken ankle, maybe a broken leg or something.
15 people were taken to the hospital, 12 students and 3 adults, according to Floyd Medical Center. The extent of their injuries is unknown, but they were released hours later. Meanwhile, the impact of the crash caused a bus to hit a power pole.
The car was coming down the road, and they were coming. That car was going around another car and clipped beside the bus, hit the back tire exploded, the bus just started flipping.
Crews worked throughout the night and into the morning removing the bus and repairing the power pole. The driver of the other car remained on the scene and was later arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence. The crash is still under investigation at this time and is being handled by Georgia State Patrol. Reporting live from Rome, I'm Ariana Manish for 11Alive. Back to you.
Ariana, thank you. Well, it is a sunny Friday across Metro Atlanta. Here's a live look from our midtime camera. It is looking gorgeous to start your weekend, but it is hot. Meteorologist Tezzy McNeil here with your 11Alive weather impact forecast. The sunshine is doing what it does.
Yes, especially this time of year, right? Hot and humid is what's going to be the call for today. We're looking at the remnants of Debbie as it continues to push further off to the north. You can see that red box there. That is a tornado watch. Parts of New York City all the way down through D.C. into Virginia. That continues even off the coast of North Carolina and South Carolina. Not off our coast. We're looking a little bit better around here as the storm continues to pull away. In fact, we have the sunshine around. Aisha just mentioned that, and it was going to stay around for the rest of the afternoon. I think we'll have mostly sunny skies for much of the day, and those temperatures will respond to that sunshine. We started out with temperatures in the 70s, very muggy on the outside, and now already into the 80s, upper 80s out there, close to the 90-degree mark. You got 88 right now in Atlanta, 89 over into Duluth, 87 degrees in Athens, 86 in Gainesville, 79 in Blairsville. That is your cool spot for this afternoon. A little bit cooler over into Carrollton as well at 81 degrees. But we're going to heat up into the 90s today. It's going to be hot and humid, so 94 degrees for your forecast high. We'll hit that between 3 and 4 o'clock, but when you factor in the humidity with that, it's going to feel closer to 100. There are some spots in our area that will get over 105 as far as the heat index goes for today. It's mainly our southernmost counties and southeasternmost counties here. You got Morgan County, Greene County, Jasper, Putnam County, and also Upson County, where we could see a heat index rise to about 105 or 107 this afternoon. In conditions like these, you definitely want to take breaks. If you have to be outside for any amount of time, take breaks. Either get into the shade or go inside and enjoy some of that air, folks. That is going to be the impact for today with that heat and humidity around. That heat advisory is going to last until 8 o'clock tonight. So we're going to hold on to the sunshine for today and as we head into the weekend, although a front is coming through. So we'll talk about less humid conditions. What does that mean for our forecast? We'll talk about that coming up. Plus a low threat for rain even as we head into next week. We'll talk about that as well. Aisha, back to you.
Chesney, thank you. Investigators are looking into a crash. A vehicle went straight into a CVS. It happened this morning on Cascade Road. The entire front area of that store was destroyed in the crash. The driver had already left the scene before police got there. As of now, it looks like nothing was actually stolen from inside the store. We spoke with one concerned resident who says this type of incident has become common in the area.
For about the past 90 days, maybe about 6 months, there's been a rash of smash and grabs. Every single time the crime has to do with the ATM machines. It's a huge inconvenience because now we've lost the use of the businesses until they can repair, and I'm sure they're going to pass the cost on to us.
We reached out to CVS representatives. They tell us they are working with police to investigate this incident. In the meantime, the store is still open to customers. And as we learn more exactly about what happened, we'll be sure to update you here on air and on 11alive.com.
411 note in the call, vehicle struck my leg.
This is some new video from Gwinnett County Police where two teens are accused of stealing a truck, damaging a high school football field, and then almost running over a police officer. Breaking into cars, that's what they were found doing, and then they discovered a truck, according to police, that had the keys left inside. Police say the teens took that truck and ended up in a short chase until the driver crashed into a car on Hamilton Mill Road. The 17-year-old driver was taken to jail while the passenger was taken to the youth detention center. Both are facing a slew of charges, including aggravated assault against the law enforcement officer. 6 students who were arrested during pro-Palestinian protests at the University of Georgia are now banned from campus for the rest of the year. This comes after 16 people were arrested and charged with criminal trespassing for refusing to leave while protesting on UGA's North Campus quad. 6 of the people arrested were university students. The Office of Student Conduct found the students violated 5 different rules the UGA Code of Conduct enforces. As a result, they've been banned from campus until January 1st. A metro area family is asking for your help today as police try to find who took a young mother's life. This is 32-year-old Shantea Reeves. Her family shared these photos with us. Atlanta police say she was killed overnight on Sunday when she was hit on the shoulder of I-20 by a black Mustang that was street racing. Police say the Mustang did not stay on the scene and they still haven't made any arrests.
Not in the streets taking lives, because it's not right. You took an innocent life, her mom, my daughter. It's not right. Because you want a street race?
Taking somebody's life is bad in general, but taking somebody's life you don't know anybody about and not even stopping to care for a little bit and not feeling a little bit of emotion is like horrible.
It's heartbreaking. We are thinking of that family today. So if you know anything, you are urged to please call police. A Cobb County father is facing charges after his 17-month-old child drowned in a bathtub last week. According to arrest warrants, Kenton Hamilton told investigators the child was asleep and at one point woke up, walked up 2 flights of stairs and got in the bathtub, turned on the water, and then sadly drowned. Warrants say during a search of the home, investigators found cocaine under couch cushions and 4 guns. Hamilton is facing several charges, including murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The owners of the Red Martini in Buckhead say they received no notice of their eviction and have consistently paid the rent. Earlier this week, we saw this scene outside of the business. They were evicted and the items were put in the parking lot, so people came to pick up whatever they could. Right now, the owners say they're suffering from a loss of hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory and property.
We want to set the record straight. This matter was still being litigated when this eviction took place.
According to court documents, the owners of Red Martini and the owners of the property, Ralph plus Rita LLC, were in litigation for months before the eviction. We reached out to the lawyers for the building's owners. They declined to comment. As for the Beauty Mart in Riverdale, the Clayton County Sheriff's Office took the hundreds of beauty supply products we saw being picked up through Wednesday to a landfill in Lovejoy. Now the Lovejoy Police Department is debunking some rumors online.
There was a few posts on Facebook and stuff like that saying if you pay $40, you can go in and dig through and get whatever items that you wanted. That's not true. All items have been destroyed.
So that one draws a scene as well. 2 totally different evictions here. The Beauty Mart and the owners say they have not commented on the story following us reaching out to get some answers here. We have a behind-the-scenes look at a project that is impacting thousands of travelers at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. It's a first-of-its-kind approach to expanding an area that passengers and planes have outgrown. 11Alive's Jerry Carnes has more on the work underway to enlarge Concourse D.
At the world's busiest airport, this may be the busiest place of all. Concourse D is changing. The heavy-duty work needed to make that happen is taking place on one side of a wall, while on the other side, inches away, busy airline passengers go about their business, unaware.
Do you notice anything different about this particular concourse?
No, nothing new.
It took a year and a half to develop a plan that allows construction and travel to exist in harmony.
It would have been very easy for any construction team to have walked in here and said, we're going to close off all these spaces. We have taken into account the traveling public.
Members of the airport's planning and development team took us behind the wall to see the work. Concourse D is getting wider, taller, and longer to accommodate bigger planes and more passengers.
We're going to open our first couple gates here September 5th, and we've really got to be organized and dialed in.
It begins at a modular yard a few miles away where additions to the concourse are built, then rolled across the runways in the middle of the night. It takes precision to make sure the new structure fits onto the old.
We're talking about 1/16 of an inch in terms of tolerance.
Crews are now running cable so that old and new can communicate.
What they're pulling now is the Wi-Fi side.
In just a few weeks, this area will open to passengers while this area empties out so crews can dismantle and remodel.
What's really going to be apparent is the volume of space.
Breathing new life into this 40-year-old area of Hartsfield-Jackson. And so far, airline passengers have hardly noticed. Jerry Carnes, 11Alive News.
Widening the north end of Concourse D will wrap up September 5th. Then the focus is going to shift to lengthening the concourse. The entire project is scheduled to wrap up in the summer of 2029. Next week, the city of Atlanta will launch a series of community input meetings on what to do with the Wellstar Atlanta Medical Center site in the heart of the Old Fourth Ward. The hospital closed nearly 2 years ago and has sat empty ever since. On Thursday, the New Georgia Project held its own community workshop, asking the people impacted by the closure what they would like to see from the former AMC site. Most of the room wanted health care. Wellstar told 11Alive it has a responsibility to ensure any plan serves the needs of the Atlanta neighborhood, and that is committed to listening to the community and working with the city on a shared vision for the future. Happening tonight, College Park City Council has a specially called meeting. According to the agenda, there will be a resolution to censor Mayor Bianca Motley Broom for her conduct during Monday's meeting. We went back and watched parts of the 2-hour meeting and found there was some disagreement over the agenda. In a statement from the mayor, she mentions that July's meeting was canceled and that the group had not met for 7 weeks, which led to a lengthy agenda. She says because of the way the meeting ended, she has concerns about the validity of the votes that took place. Today's meeting starts at 6 and we'll be sure to let you know the outcome. It appears former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have officially agreed to face off on the debate stage. Both camps say they'll debate next month on September 10th. NBC's Drew Pechimo has more from Washington.
Speaking with reporters at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida estate, former President Donald Trump ticking through a laundry list of grievances and attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris.
She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference.
Explaining Harris's rise in the polls.
She's a woman. She represents certain groups of people.
And bragging about the size of crowds at his rallies.
On crowd size, in history, for any country, nobody's had crowds like I have.
Harris and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, in Michigan, speaking to the United Auto Workers.
I am so deeply honored, as a lifelong supporter of union labor, for Tim and I to have the endorsement of UAW.
Walz playing attack dog, taking aim at the Trump ticket.
He doesn't know you. He doesn't care about your family. And his running mate is just as dangerous and backward as he is.
It appears the candidates will soon appear on stage together.
We'd like to do 3 debates. We think we should do 3 debates.
But so far, the Harris camp agreeing to just one on September 10th, planned months ago when Joe Biden was still in the race.
I am happy to have that conversation about an additional debate for after September 10th, for sure.
Until then, both campaigns will continue to crisscross the country. With less than 3 months before Election Day, every minute is critical to reach voters. Drew Petrimo, NBC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, Georgia voters should expect plenty of attention from the campaigns leading up to November. The nonpartisan Cook Political Report says Georgia is among 3 states that no longer lean Republican in the presidential race, now that Kamala Harris is the Democratic presidential nominee. Doug Richards with 11Alive's political team has a look at how the election might be shifting.
When Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Kamala Harris showed up at the same venue in Atlanta within a week of each other, it showed that both camps think they can win Georgia. From Governor Brian Kemp down to the legislature, Republicans control state government, but the Cook Political Report says Georgia plus Arizona and Nevada have shifted from leaning Republican this fall to a toss-up.
This is a center-right state. People in this state have common sense.
State Republican Chairman Josh McCoon told reporters that although the politics in Georgia have leaned right for decades, it makes sense for both campaigns to fight it out here this fall.
Yes, we're going to win Georgia, but we've been treating Georgia at the Georgia Republican Party as a battleground since last June.
The battleground will add up to more media and online advertising and way more unsolicited text messages on the cell phones of voters, says Democratic strategist Theron Johnson.
You now are going to be asked to get engaged, whether you're Republican, Libertarian, Democrat. Both campaigns are laser-like focused on contacting people, and one of the best ways you do it is through people's devices.
Johnson says he expects the Harris campaign to get a political bump after the Democratic convention this month. Then he says he expects the race to tighten after Labor Day, going into October, a month known for its political surprises. In Midtown, Doug Richards, 11Alive News.
Special counsel Jack Smith is asking a judge to reschedule next week's status hearing in Trump's election interference case. The request was made in an effort to give prosecutors until the end of the month to finalize their position on how the case should proceed. If granted, prosecutors would have 3 more weeks to consult with other parts of the Justice Department on a way forward. Trump, who has pleaded not guilty in the case, has pushed for legal battles to be dismissed or at least delayed until after the election. Issues in the Cobb County Superior Court causing frustration for thousands of people. The court clerk led a transition to a new e-filing system, but it's taken months to fully convert due to technical issues. As Joe Ripley reports, the problems have left domestic violence survivors searching for help.
Waiting for answers outside Cobb County Superior Court.
Time is of the essence.
And waiting for help to come. Fernando Zapian Ramirez works with Live Safe Resources, which serves all of Cobb County's temporary protective orders or restraining orders.
It can be frustrating for clients to have to go before court and explain the abuse that they've been having to deal with. And so it's another thing entirely to feel like a system may be failing them because it's not enforceable.
That system slowed down by a software conversion that's taking longer than expected to file and process electronic records. Ramirez says that's making it harder to enforce any orders.
Her abuser violated the order, sent her text messages, videos contacting her. Law enforcement could not enforce it because they did not have proof of service.
A judge declared a judicial emergency, allowing for some relief in the form of deadline extensions to court proceedings.
There is a concern on our end. Right now, my office, we're looking into seeing what we can do to make sure our clients remain safe and protected. There's only so much we can do on our end.
The Cobb County Superior Court Chief Judge has put this judicial emergency in place for 30 days. He said he would give a week's notice to either move up that time frame if these issues are sorted out in time or extend the deadline. In Cobb County, Joe Ripley, 11Alive News.
The financial woes continue for Delta Airlines. The company now says it will take a $380 million revenue hit this quarter due to that global tech outage caused by CrowdStrike. This is because of the refunds for canceled flights and compensating passengers in cash and miles. Delta is also chalking up another $170 million in non-fuel costs related to reimbursements and crew-related expenses. Delta is pursuing legal claims against both Microsoft and CrowdStrike, which disputes the airline's claims. Within the next hour, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp will fly over the Georgia coast to get a survey of the damage caused by Tropical Storm Debbie. This is a look at what people in Bullock County are dealing with. Many of them were forced to leave their homes after flooding. We know Governor Kemp extended the state of emergency for all 159 counties until next Thursday. He is also expected to update Georgians on how state officials are handling the situation this afternoon. Chesley.
Thanks a lot, Aisha. We are watching what's left over from Debbie continue to slide further off to the north. It's the center of circulation now over northern parts of Pennsylvania, moving very rapidly at 37 miles per hour. So it's getting on out of here, dumping a lot of heavy rain, of course, up toward New York City. We got Boston area, some severe weather up there as well. Those winds up to 35 miles per hour will continue to weaken somewhat as it continues to slide further off to the north, but it is leaving our area, or has left our area. So things are looking good, or at least sitting pretty for us for now. Latest track again shows that will continue to slide through the state of New York, eventually into Canada and out of the way. And then we'll turn our attention to what's left out there in the Atlantic Ocean. We do have a wave that we are watching. I'll show you that in just a bit. Here's a better look at the precipitation now. You can see up and down the eastern seaboard. You have plans to go up to Boston today, New York. You're flying out. Definitely want to check ahead. Look at all that heavy rain in parts of Pennsylvania. That's going to continue to slide over toward the east as well. That red box there indicates a tornado watch that is in effect. We saw tornadoes even this morning in Virginia and Maryland. So that continues at least for this morning as that system continues to slide further off to the north. Meanwhile, here, sitting pretty. Plenty of sunshine around, and that sunshine is doing its job. It's heating us up, folks. It's going to be another hot and humid day for us this afternoon. Yep, those temperatures getting back into the 90s today, and when you factor in humidity, it's going to feel much warmer than that. I can tell you that. We're in the 80s right now. 83 degrees up toward Dalton, 81 in Clayton, 90 right now in Duluth, 88 degrees in downtown Atlanta. Looking at 86 degrees, 87 now in LaGrange, 86 degrees also in Thomaston. Those temperatures changing on me a little bit there. Notice the temperatures. High temperatures today will be well into the 90s. You're looking at 97 degrees over toward Athens. You factor in humidity with that, it's going to feel above 100. In some spots, we could see that heat index rise to about 105 to 107 today. We got some highlighted counties here where we'll have that heat advisory. This is going to last until 8 o'clock tonight. So you're talking about places like Morgan County, Jasper, Putnam County, Greene County is associated with that as well, and then down into Upson County. Our southernmost counties, our southeasternmost counties involved in this, and that's where we could see that higher heat index. So be on the lookout between now and this afternoon. Again, that heat advisory will last until 8 o'clock. The impacts will be that heat index rising above 105. Now that can do some damage to your body, folks. So definitely want to take the necessary precautions like taking breaks in the shade, or if you can get inside the air for a little while, that's also good too. And take as many breaks as you possibly can. We've got a front that's going to be moving through the area, and this will help to dry us out somewhat. It will drop that dew point on us. Will not change our temperatures all that much. Okay, so we're still going to see those temperatures in the 90s, but with lower humidity, it should feel just a little bit better. Talked about the tropics, and here we go. We got a wave. You can see it closer to Africa now, but that will begin to trek toward the Caribbean as it does. Right now, the Hurricane Center is saying about a 60% chance over the next 7 days for that to become tropical. So that could be our next named storm. We'll continue to keep an eye on it for you, update you as we go along. If it happens to turn tropical, we're getting closer and closer now to the peak of hurricane season, which is in September. All right, here's our forecast track model. You can follow along with me with the time right there above my big head. You'll see some cumulus clouds bubbling in once we get into the afternoon. Don't think we have too much to worry about as far as any precipitation goes. A stray shower or two, certainly possible. Can't rule that out, but most of us will stay on the dry side. We'll do it again as we head into Saturday. Mostly sunny skies to start. A few clouds popping up during the afternoon, but the area stays nice and dry. I think it will be the southern portions of the central part of our state and southward that could see the showers as that front stalls down to the south. 94 degrees for the high on Saturday. Sunday, 92. Mostly sunny skies both days. We'll hold on to that as we start the work week next week, and we'll watch those temperatures drop off just a little bit as we head toward the middle of the work week with a 20% chance for rain returning to the area Wednesday and Thursday. Aisha?
It's a popular way to generate extra income in a tough market. House hacking involves renting out a portion of your home, and while it can offset the high cost of home ownership, it may not be as simple as it seems. Jonathan Martin shows us in Affording Atlanta.
Shante Hughes just furnished his basement.
I'm also going to put an actual full refrigerator here later on.
And is ready to rent it out.
Also, they have their own personal interests, so if they wanted to come in separate from where I come in.
He purchased his home in Morrow last year. He lives upstairs and plans to charge a tenant $1,200 a month to stay downstairs.
Having a tenant, the idea was getting someone here to make the home pay for itself.
He's among a growing number of homeowners turning to house hacking or purchasing a property, living in part of it, and renting out the rest as a way to reduce or eliminate living expenses.
This is definitely not easy. It's taking a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of time, and it's a lot that you have to do on your own. So.
Hughes works in film production, and when work slowed during last year's Hollywood strikes, he relied on extra income from having a tenant for a few months.
Bathroom.
But he also learned being a landlord can be a challenge when plumbing and other issues popped up.
Well, we have to be responsible for all of the maintenance, everything. Like I can't call somebody to come in the same day and fix something. Like,
I believe in house hacking. I think it's a great way for people to kind of stay ahead of the curve.
Real estate expert Daniel Dorfman runs Atlanta's Roots investment community. He says before you try this, make sure you have the right space and don't make changes that could decrease your home value.
Have the basement that could be converted. Have the, back of the house that can be converted. Don't just try and fit a space within your home that might not work.
And he says be sure you know the legal implications of being a landlord and are following city codes and HOA rules.
A lot of HOAs don't even allow rentals, period. And sometimes they do put blocks on different roommate situations as well. So digest those rules, understand where your counties are, what your city rules are, what your county rules are.
Let me get out of his way.
For Shante Hughes, now comes the critical part, finding a tenant and vetting them. For him, it's someone who's low-key and looking to rent long-term.
Exactly, yeah.
Jonathan Martin, 11Alive News.
The real estate expert we spoke with also says before you house hack, think about utilities, not just costs going up, but the location of things like the thermostat and internet router if they are in spaces you don't want a tenant entering. BMW is now recalling more than 100,000 vehicles. The issue is with a starter motor. It can fail, and when drivers make repeated attempts to start the vehicle, it can overheat the motor. This can also increase the risk of starting a fire in the engine compartment. 14 models of crossovers and sedans from 2019 and 2020 are affected. BMW will notify owners by mail, and dealers can fix the issue with a free software update. Samsung is recalling more than 1 million of its electric top stoves. Children and pets were accidentally starting fires by bumping the knobs. Samsung received reports of nearly 250 fires and 40 injuries because of this issue. The company is not providing free knob locks or covers for affected products. We are just days away from the closing ceremony of the Paris Olympics, and our Cheryl Preheim and Faith Jesse have been giving us in-depth coverage of all of our Georgia athletes since day one. Let's take a look back at some of the fun behind-the-scenes moments.
Good morning from the Metro. We are on to the next stop.
Hey guys, it's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Is it Monday?
It's Monday.
Today's Monday. Oh gosh.
That will tell you exactly where it's at.
Monster block, monster block, monster block.
3, 2, 1. Hello from Paris. Cheryl Preheim and Faith Jesse here.
The ladies have done an excellent job, and we are ready to welcome them back home. Well, as the games wrap up on Sunday, we want to point out some programming changes. The Olympics are preempting 11Alive News weekdays and weekends. While the games are on TV, you can watch it and get the latest on big local stories and weather 24/7 through our streaming app, 11Alive Plus. We will continue streaming this afternoon at 4 p.m. Then we're right back on air at 6 p.m. and again for 11Alive News at 11 following Olympics prime time. 11Alive News is also watching dozens of athletes from Georgia competing. Still more to come. Cheryl Preheim and Faith Jesse are going to tell those stories for us. Their reports will be featured during our 2 Olympic specials airing Monday through Saturday. The All Access Pass is at 7, followed by the Olympic Zone at 7:30. Chesley.
All right. Thanks a lot, Aisha. We're looking at sunshine for the rest of the afternoon. There will be a couple of cumulative clouds that will pop up in here, but we're not anticipating much in the way of any rainfall. Can't rule out a stray shower or two, but I think we'll be fine. Saturday, pretty much the same. You're looking at sunshine around the area. Sunday, the same as well. And those temperatures will be warming up. You're looking at 94 degrees for the high today and tomorrow. 92 degrees for the high on Sunday. Monday will be at 93. You notice the chance of rain going up slightly as we head into the middle of the work week next week. Wednesday, Thursday, a 20% chance for an isolated shower or two. Temperatures back down to where they should be for this time of year. By then, we should be around 90 degrees. We'll get back there by then. Try to stay cool this weekend and have yourself a good time. Be safe.
All right, Chesley, thank you. And we thank you for watching 11Alive Midday here. Be sure to join the team right back on 11Alive Plus at 4. Make it a great weekend, everybody.